Hi, everybody. I am here with Liz Lamoreux, and I'm so excited to be introducing her to you all because you're going to get to meet her at Curve Camp. So, hi, Liz.
Hello.
Would you introduce yourself to everybody?
Sure. So I am, oh goodness, that question is always so fun for me. I always feel like, well, I do all these things. I do all these things. I am a retreat host and a teacher and a mom to a little girl who's 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I think of myself as someone who wants to give people space to experience everything that one experiences in a life, from the beauty to the hard stuff. And so I think of myself as being kind of a facilitator of beauty and real.
Yeah. What do you love the most about that work?
I love creating safe containers for people to share their stories.
Oh, nice.
And for them to just show up as themselves so that they can put aside the roles that they play, that the labels of, partner, of mom, of business owner, employee, whatever it is, all those labels, including labels like daughter of a mother who's dying or someone who's having a rough time with their partner, and just show up as just them so they can just be, let their kind of true essence just begin to come out. And just to facilitate safe space for that to happen. That's my favorite thing, whether it's online or in person, in a classroom, workshop setting, at retreats. And even through inviting people through, a blog post or something to do that work themselves, come to the page and show up as themselves too.
Yeah. Well, I know that's going to be a big part of what you're bringing into your session at Curve Camp, which is practice the art of liking yourself through poeming it out. So can you tell us about that?
So I think of the idea of to poem it out as being similar to, like, someone might say, I dance it out, or I write it out, or they go in there, they run it out, they garden it out, whatever it is. That stuff that gets kind of stuck in us.
Yeah.
Our experiences, our stories, the people who pull on us, that we use poetry, reading it and writing it, to help us get it out so that it's no longer stuck inside. So in all honesty, it becomes like a yoga practice or a meditation practice to let your mind kind of focus just on being right here and reading and experiencing a poem, or just let yourself be right here and writing. But I like to think of it as an action, like poem it out, like dance it out, because it's fun.
Yeah.
And I know poetry isn't always thought of as something that's fun.
Right.
But when you're with me, it becomes something that's fun.
Yeah, and people don't have to be like expert poets to come.
And I love it when people come in and they either don't like poetry because their English teacher, their senior year in high school, made them hate it, they say, or whatever. or I love it when people say, I wrote bad poetry when I was an adolescent and I haven't done it since, but I miss it.
Yeah.
If you've never read a poem, or if you love poetry, and when I say, names like Mary Oliver and William Stafford and David White, you're like, oh, I love those. But if you're like, I don't know who those people are, that's totally okay. Because I'm going to share really accessible poems that are like a guided meditation, that are like a prayer, that are like a true story that someone's shared and said, here, you aren't alone. And they've done it in such a short form that you can get right to the point. You don't have to read 36 chapters to get to the point. Right. It's just right there on one page. And sometimes only in 5 or 6 lines. Yeah. But poetry is like, for me, it's like a mirror that the poet holds up and says, look at how you're not alone, because here's this piece of a story for you to see. And then to play with words in ways you've probably never played with them before, to find your way to a poem yourself, because I believe we all have that poet inside us. We all have those stories that we want to share. And I'm going to give you really accessible, quick practices that you can have some fun with, even in just a little bit of time. So I see it as a form of self-care, because you're getting those stories out and you're getting out of the stuckness or the maybe the label you've given the story or whatever it is, but you're also having fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like such a powerful experience during your workshop, and then that people can take home with them to just be able to use
Definitely.
whenever they feel the need to poem it out. Yeah, I love
Exactly. And they won't need a lot of supplies. They won't have to invest in a lot of new things. You really just need a notebook.
That's pretty simple.
Willingness to open yourself up to it. Yeah, so I can't wait. I love to give people that gift of poetry as a meditation practice, as self-care, as a creative practice.
Yeah.
And it'll happen to you. If you take my class, it'll happen.
I believe it and totally agree. So speaking of being excited about Curve Camp, what are you most excited about?
I love the idea of being able to kind of circle up with like-minded women who are ready to take that step to say, I want to practice loving who I am in a room of other people wanting to practice loving who I am in this moment, showing up as me.
Yeah.
I think that I can feel the tangible power and beauty and sacredness of that, and not even knowing who's going to be there yet.
Yeah,
but there will be such a sacredness to it, and I can't wait to be in that circle.
Me too. Yeah, I got chills just when you were talking about it. Do you have a favorite camp or sleepover or some kind of memory like that?
So I went to theater camp when I was in middle school.
Fun!
Yeah, totally. So, so that in itself is a pretty awesome thing, because I was able to really, the glee, like get my inner glee out or whatever, like that TV show. So to be able to practice with kind of like-minded, for the most part, people from, ages, I think it was like 10 to 18 or something like that.
Cool.
And we did different productions, and I was able to find, I have a picture of me singing. If it's on my blog, if you search for theater camp, you'll find it, where I'm like going like this. I have on a sequins headband, and
nice.
I think we're singing from some songs from Annie Get Your Gun, so I think it's probably quick on the trigger, kind of movement. But I look so happy, and I think about that. I think of that as my 7th grade self, really being so open heart, open to letting out that side of myself with such joy.
Yeah.
And so when I think of camp, I think about hopefully that opportunity for people to just have fun and let that joy out.
And just be in their element.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And maybe there'll be a sing-along. I like to sing and I like to dance. So
now that you put it out there, I'll put you in charge of that.
So good.
So I just have one more question for you, and that is, what is your favorite go-to self-care practice?
So what I've been turning to lately is just the act of hand to heart, 5 deep breaths.
Oh, yeah. It's
It's
amazing how powerful that is.
Because it's 1 deep breath is good. Yeah. I mean, if you only have time for 1, it's good. But when you take time for 5 deep breaths, it's actually a chunk of time.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you're just focusing on inhale, exhale, or counting 1, just focusing on the number 1, then 2. And I try to do it outside, or like right now where I'm sitting, I can see the window. So looking outside, having that connection to nature, and just being right here and trying to just focus on that. It's hard to stay in the negative or grumpy headspace, stressed. I do it a lot on the weekends when my husband, daughter, and I are all in the house together. And she won't lay down for her nap, and after she finally does, I stand on the front step and just take 5 deep breaths. Okay, it's all right, you did it. She's finding her way. Yeah. So that's kind of my go-to right now, because it's just always available.
Right.
Yeah.
Free. You can do it anywhere. It's beautiful. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of this. Was already so excited about your session, and now I'm like 10 times more excited at least. And I can't wait for everyone to get to be with you and spend time with you and learn from you. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. See you soon.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.